323. The Case of the Mired Horse. Chalcedon Report number 166, June 1979. To understand the modern age, it is important to understand the case of the mired horse. In 1825, Robert Owen came to the United States like a god from a machine, according to one scholar, to recruit converts to form his first socialist community, the Community of Equality at New Harmony, Indiana. His was the humanistic gospel of salvation. Children were to be taken at birth and trained as, quote, blank paper, end quote, into the true way of life. The colony began with a declaration of mental independence from the, quote, social evils, end quote, which plagued mankind. Quote, private or individual property, absurd and irrational. Systems of religion and marriage, founded on individual property, combined with some of these irrational systems of religion, end quote. In 1826, a visiting Frenchman, Gabriel Rey, interested in joining the colony, found some discouraging signs of trouble and left later. He arrived on April the 5th at supper time, but had to go to bed supperless on a short, creaking bed. At dawn, Rey took a walk to see this humanistic paradise at first hand. He found a mired horse, groaning with none to help him. 9 days later, when Rey left, the horse was still mired and helpless, with none making any effort to rescue it. While Rey was there, necessary work went undone, but a new constitution was announced. Here we have, in classic form, in the case of the mired horse, a telling aspect of the modern age insofar as its intellectuals and leaders are concerned. Hegel declared, in a sentence which sums up modern thought from Descartes to the present, that the rational is the real. Reality being equated with thought, the key to the future became not the worker or the producer, the laborer or the capitalist, but the intellectual. The key to dominating the world and creating a new reality became the intellectual. Biblical faith, by setting forth the absolute sovereignty of God and the necessary response of faith on the part of man, was the great enemy of the intellectuals because it denied their version of reality. Biblical faith sets forth the sovereign God whose government is total. Because God is the creator of all things, his eternal decree establishes the necessary bounds and framework of all life and thought. Predestination, that is, total planning and control, is thus an inescapable concept in fact. If it be denied to God, it accrues to man. As a result, the intellectuals have seen a new locale for sovereignty and predestination in either the quote-unquote autonomous intellectual or in the scientific socialist state. In man's hand, this means confusion. If the rational is the real, if what the intellectual determines is a necessary quote-unquote fact, then it is either ipso facto reality or some hostile force is frustrating and destroying the coming into being of reality. This leads, first, to the case of the mired horse. Whenever any Congress, Parliament, Politburo, or like agency meets, it majestically outlaws the possibility of mired horses. This is the nature of modern politics, the abolition by fiat decree of mired horses. Man's problems are legislated out of existence whenever such bodies meet. Second, because these mired horses do not disappear, we then see attacks launched against the evil elements which destroys the rational order. In the Soviet Union, this means slave labor camps. In the United States, for example, the economy is a mired horse, mired by the federal government itself and by its monetary and fiscal policies. However, war is waged by the federal government against capital and labor and also against consumers, against everyone else as the real offenders. Stern warnings are issued and speculators attacked. All the while, more horses are mired by the federal government and more people are blamed for it. The men of New Harmony framed a new constitution while the mired horse remained mired and died apparently. The apostles of the New World Order are killing more than mired horses. The key for them is not faith and work, but more noble pronouncements and laws. As long as men in high places and low have the same outlook and hope as the men of New Harmony, we will continue to have mired horses. At New Harmony, all men were required to put all their capital into the colony, except the leaders: Robert Owen, his son Robert Dale Owen, William McClure, Guillaume S. Ficapal d'Arruzemont, Marie Duclos Fretageau, and other leaders, apparently contributing their presence and, quote, ideas, end quote, was more than enough capital. Now, if we put any faith or hope in men who mire horses, we ourselves will be mired at the very least. We and our society will perish most assuredly. Yet, modern man's hope has been in men who mire horses. Even worse, the Church too often denies the Lordship of Jesus Christ by limiting his kingship to the Church only, or to the future, and thereby turns the world over to men who mire horses. Some will even argue that to assert the crown rights of Christ over every realm is, quote, the social gospel, end quote. But the social gospel is humanism. It asserts human autonomy and sovereignty and the satisfaction of human needs as the gospel. It is an appalling blindness to confuse Christ's kingship over all things with its opposite, and it is an open invitation for the judgment of God. Such men are fools who say in their heart, there is no God outside the Church, and this is a greater evil than miring horses.